Well, thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to be speaking about enhancing the iManage environment with MacroAgility, and our guest, Jason Evans from Charles Russell Speechlys. My name's Steve Brooks, and joining me today is also Noman Khalil from MacroAgility. Really quickly, who we are as MacroAgility. We've been in business for 14 years as an iManage partner. We not only do professional services as well as migrations, but we also create and enhance the iManage environments with our tools. So we have tools like our workspace generator, which is very popular. We have import-export tools, we have migration tools, as well as the newest tool that we have is the iReports tool that has some capability to actually build out SQL scripts within the iManage cloud. So those old reports that you used to be able to pull from on-prem, you're able to actually pull a lot of those reports in the cloud now. So what we're going to be speaking about today is just really covering off who we are, just an overview of MacroAgility, introduction of Jason and Charles Russell Speechlys and what we've been doing for him. Then we're going to just really talk about the solutions that we've had, the engagement that we've had with Jason, with Charles Russell Speechlys and ourselves. Last year was when we actually first met Jason. So last year was our first time attending the London iManage Connect Live. And meeting somebody like Jason was kind of helped us. We've been in business, as I said, for 11 years, 10 years at the time. We had a lot of clients that have been using our tools, going along, but just finding somebody that was able to bring their background in as a DMS architect and that first engagement we had with them. So when we got back and we contacted Jason to set up some time, it was just that first meeting you could actually tell that it was just going to be a really good relationship. So in that first meeting, I'll sort of pass it off to Jason and Noman now. Noman, when you first engaged with Jason, when we had that first conversation, what sort of stuck out? What were the questions that Jason had about the iSyncKit that kind of stuck out in your head?
I have to say, Jason has a lot of knowledge of iManage. He's asked so many questions that I just can't list all of it. But he had questions like, hey, you know what? He would come up to me and he'd be like, can we do this in iManage? I want to take this data, put it in a dashboard, give it to my IT team, bring it to my iManage web interface so that my IT team can handle this process. I don't have to do this, or I have this business process. So he's come up with very good questions, and he's given a lot of feedback on the iSyncKit as well. Hey, can you guys make a tool for me for this? And majority of the time, our answers always has been yes.
Good stuff. Yep, and Jason, when you first engaged with us and we were setting up that demonstration, I know you sort of had in your head what you were looking for, but did you have any expectations of, hey, these are all the problems that I'm going to solve? Or was it more of we were just looking at possibly working with different vendors?
I think it was both things, really. I think we were looking for different vendors and different ways of doing things. I think one of the biggest challenges we've had since moving to the cloud is particularly where everything's now API driven, that brings you into a new world. So not everybody in the IT department is necessarily vested in APIs generally, or has API backgrounds. And it's almost like, because I'm really the single source, a single point of failure in my organisation for iManage currently, everything I try and put if you like, an iManage for Dummies badge on it. That sounds really bad, but it's not. It's to try and make that more intuitive for people that are not necessarily familiar with iManage to be able to pick it up and run with it from an admin perspective, and that's not always necessarily straightforward. The iSyncKit changed that for me and our organisation. Excellent.
Yeah, and to ask Noman, as we spoke with Jason, we went through the different solutions. Which off-the-shelf, quote-unquote, off-the-shelf tools with the iSyncKit did you first start working with the implementation?
Yeah, majority of the stuff that he was initially looking for were already actually right out of the box. He has the file share migration, the uplift, being able to move his stuff from one library of iManage to another. He's got the import tool, export tool, the bulk security update, the exporter, and these are just right out of the box. And then he came up with so many other things which actually went into production as well. the web extension export, and then he's asking, can we bring the bulk security update to the iManage? That's a tool. So those are the ones in working already as well.
What was it like working with Noman and his team in implementing the solutions and working through and finding new solutions?
That's obviously been great. I can't speak highly enough of the team on that. I think one of the biggest challenges, again, I'll touch upon one of the points you mentioned there, was we're an international firm. We've only got, I think we're lucky enough to have only 4 iManage libraries. But jurisdictional-wise, people open matters in the wrong locations all the time. Now, back in the on-prem days, it was really easy just to be able to move a workspace from one library to another. When we moved to the cloud, that was taken away. So you go to this shiny new cloud solution, but from an admin perspective, it almost pushed us back a step, and it become a bit of a manual process in that we would have to export the data out, delete it, and then re-import it back in to move it over. That wasn't the case with everything, but it was the case with most of the things. And I used to sit there think, I was sitting there for ages scratching out, this is bonkers. I used to do this automated with a couple of clicks, and I've gone forwards, but now I can't do it. Another thing that I deal with quite heavily is lateral hires. So the organisation, our organisation I work at, Charles Russell Speechlys, has grown at a phenomenal rate. What seemed, when I first joined, there was 170 people. I think we're up to nearly 1,400 users now. That's been on pretty much over the last 15, 16 years as a journey for myself. But we're onboarding new partners more than we've ever onboarded them ever before, and they're always bringing with them trucks of data. Hey, I'm giving you this lot on Friday night, I'm giving you this lot on a Monday morning, and they always need it by Monday morning, 9 o'clock. I can see a couple of people smiling around the room. One of the best bits about this kit was it can actually do differential file copies. So Friday night, you get subset of data 1 from your new lateral hire who's moving over. You import it in, they may work on it over the weekend, and then on Monday morning you'll get a different subset of data, like the last of your stuff to import in. Maybe they had some changes on their old system or their old company they've moved from, the old iManage or old whatever system they're using. iSync took care of that, and I was looking for a solution to deal with that because that's a real common challenge that we face, and it took care of that with ease. And those two things are probably the shining lights that helped, along with the iReport functionality. So I don't know if you're going to dive any more into iReports or you want me to, but one of the key features of that is that you can take the metadata out of Cloud iManage and put it into an on-prem SQL database. So from a reporting perspective, if you think Power BI and other reporting methods, it's really good. So we've got new teams evolving throughout the organisation, like trying to build data lakes, and just to be able to get that metadata out and have it in a database where we can query it is really beneficial. And one of the things that we come across from the beginning, almost by accident, was when I done a download of our main iManage library, I compared it to our PMS system and compared it to our workspace generation system and found that we had, I think it was about 150,000 records of legacy data pre-2014 where the metadata is actually wrong inside iManage compared to what's in FreeE. So FreeE says one thing, our PMS, but iManage says something else. So that's something that without iReports, that would have effectively been in, I'm sure it would have come up at some point, but proactively we've been able to remediate that almost by accident, if you like. But that's just one of the features of it. I've used it for multiple different use cases. We was using an alternative, if you like, rival cloud admin platform. I won't name the name, but unfortunately for us, it just wasn't working, it wasn't delivering. If anyone wants to ask me, I'll happily say it offline. But since I found this, it's something that I can't live without, I feel, on a day-to-day basis. I use it quite heavily, and the best bit about it is, as well, at the moment, any feature that I pretty much ask for, I can pretty much, the team are so open to bringing that in. And that's been a really good, probably the best bit about it, because you don't get that with every vendor. Some it might take 6 months. Even, dare I say it, sometimes iManage, if you ask for things, it can take a significant amount of time for things like that to come in, but I've been able to get things in that I've needed really quickly and easily.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things that really caught us up with Jason, is that he's the one that's asking. It's very easy as the single point of contact, me being that first point of contact with a lot of clients, to say, hey, can you guys do this? Can you do that? It's very easy for me to say, yes. And you probably hear that yes over and over and over again, but it's actually the delivery of that yes. And we were able to, in just a short amount of time, take the feedback that Jason gave us and not only expand that to his goals and what he was looking to achieve, we were actually able to, because of the way that our software is developed, roll that out to other clients. So it gave me the opportunity in other conversations say, oh, by the way, we did these updates or we did these upgrades within the environment. They're now available to you. And they're, oh, that's great. So we're actually creating new value by bringing on new clients. So I just want to say thank you very much for everybody's time. Well, have a wonderful evening. If anybody has any questions at all, just please do not hesitate to let us know. We are always there. If anything even pops up that, hey, can we do this? We'd love to hear about it. We'd absolutely love to hear about any ideas that you do have, and look forward to working here with everyone. Thank you so much.